A complete list of the different types of turtles with pictures. It may come as a surprise for many. But more than 300 different species of turtles are found on the planet. These species of turtles are classified into different types on the basis of their physical and behavioral traits. The largest and the smallest turtle. There exist more than 300 different species of turtles in the world, with the largest being the leatherback sea turtle with an average shell length of 6.6 ft and weight of 2000 lb, and the smallest being the speckled pedloper tortoise with an average length of 3.1 inches and weight of 5 oz. This difference between the largest and the smallest species of turtles speaks in volumes about the great deal of diversity in this reptile family. With time, evolution has created an ever-increasingly diverse range of turtle species, each with its own special characteristics. The fact that there are more than 300 species of turtles may seem unbelievable, as our knowledge about this reptile species is by and large limited to those turtles which are kept as pets. Such ignorance about the different types of turtles is surprising, considering that these reptiles have existed on the planet for more than 200 million years. Fossil records validate their existence during the Upper Triassic. In what follows, you will find small factual portraits of some turtle species. Turtle or tortoise. Usually, the word turtles is used for the members of this reptile family found in the oceans, while those found on the land are termed tortoises. With different sources coming up with different explanations, there seems to be some confusion about the usage of terms turtles and tortoise. Basically, the usage of these terms differs in accordance to the language in question. In British English, the term turtles is used for those species which are found in the sea and tortoises for those inhabiting the land. In American English, on the other hand, the term turtles is used as a general term to all the species belonging to this family, and the sea-dwelling species are specifically referred to as sea turtles. Classification of turtles. Biologically speaking, turtles are reptiles belonging to the order Testudines, which is further categorized into two groups, i.e. suborders Cryptodira and Pleurodira. Those species of turtles belonging to the suborder Cryptodira are typically characterized by the ability to retract their head into the shell, while those belonging to the suborder Pleurodira are known to fold their unusually long necks and tuck their head into the shell. Within the order Testudines, there exist 14 families of turtles which together comprise 97 genera of this reptile species. These 14 families are classified into the two suborders, with Cryptodira consisting 11 families: Ceratoclidide, Chelonidae, Calidridae, Dermatomyidae, Dermocalidae, Amididae, Geomididae, Kinosternidae, Platysternidae, Testudinidae and Trinichidae, and Pleurodira consisting 3 families: Chelidae, Pelomedeucidae and Podocnemididae. Various types of turtles. From a layman's point of view, terms like order, suborder, genus, binomial name, etc. are bound to cause confusion. In order to make it simple, each of the existing families of turtles are grouped into different types, such as the snapping turtles, sea turtles, true tortoises, mud turtles, river turtles, soft shell turtles, side neck turtles, etc. Given below are the details of this classification of different turtle species on the planet. Snapping turtles. Snapping turtles are the species of turtles which belong to family Calidridae. This family of turtles consists two species in monotypic genera, the Immoman snapping turtles and the Meligator snapping turtles, with their population spanning across the continents of North America and South America, besides some parts of Asia. Genus Chelidra. Common snapping turtle, Chelidra serpentina. Geographical range, Canada, United States and Mexico. Conservation status. Least concern genus Macrocles, alligator snapping turtle, Macrocles teminki, geographical range, southern United States conservation status. Vulnerable sea turtles. Sea turtles are the turtles belonging to family Chelonidae and family Dermocalidae, which together consist 7 extant species of these marine reptiles. These are the turtle species which most of the people picture when they hear the word turtle. While the Chelonidae family consists 4 monotypic genera and 1 polytypic genera, the Dermocalidae family is made up of a single monotypic genera with the leatherback sea turtle as the lone member of the family. Sea turtles are found in all the oceans of the world except for the Arctic Ocean. Genus Chelidra geographical range, Canada, United States and Mexico conservation status, least concerned genus Macrocles geographical range. Southern United States conservation status. Vulnerable sea turtles. Sea turtles are the turtles belonging to family Chelonidae and family Dermocalidae, which together consist 7 extant species of these marine reptiles. These are the turtle species which most of the people picture when they hear the word turtle. While the Chelonidae family consists 4 monotypic genera and 1 polytypic genera, the Dermocalidae family is made up of a single monotypic genera with the leatherback sea turtle as the lone member of the family. Sea turtles are found in all the oceans of the world except for the Arctic Ocean. Genus Caretta geographical range, distributed throughout the world conservation status, endangered genus Chelonia geographical range. Tropical and subtropical seas of the world conservation status, endangered genus Eretmocles geographical range. Distributed throughout the world conservation status, critically endangered genus Lepidopteles geographical range. Tropical and warm waters of the world conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico conservation status. Critically endangered genus Netator geographical range, endemic to Australian continental shelf conservation status, endangered genus Dermocles. Dermocalidae subfamily, geographical range, distributed throughout the world conservation status. Endangered big-headed turtles. The big-head turtle, found in South and Southeast Asia, is the lone member of family Platysternidae, i.e. the family of big-headed turtles. As the name of this monotypic species suggests, it is typically characterized by its large head. The big-headed turtle was grouped with the snapping turtles previously owing to its resemblance to them. But this placement was reconsidered as eventually it became clear that the resemblance is trivial. Genus Platysterno big-headed turtle, Platysterno megacephalum, geographical range, China, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, and Vietnam conservation status. Endangered pond turtles and marsh turtles, those species of turtles which are found in ponds and marshes across the world, come together to form the Amididae family of turtles. This group is made up of around 50 species, nearly all of which are found in the Western Hemisphere. The members of this turtle family are quite popular when it comes to pet trade and hence are most popular of the lot. Genus Chlamys geographical range, southern Canada and the eastern U.S. conservation status, endangered genus Amiss geographical range, southern and central Europe, West Asia and North Africa conservation status, endangered geographical range, Sicily, Italy conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Canada and the United States conservation status, endangered geographical range, west coast of the United States of America and Mexico conservation status, vulnerable genus Glyptomys geographical range, eastern United States conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, endemic to North America conservation status, endangered genus Terpene geographical range, eastern United States and Mexico conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, endemic to Mexico conservation status, endangered geographical range, central United States conservation status, near threatened geographical range. Endemic to Mexico. Conservation status: data deficient. Genus Chrysemys. Geographical range: distributed throughout North America. Conservation status: least concern. Genus Derocles. Geographical range: Southeast United States. Conservation status: least concern. Genus Graptomys. Geographical range: Alabama, Georgia and Mississippi. Conservation status: near threatened. Geographical range: endemic to the eastern United States. Conservation status: vulnerable. Geographical range: endemic to the southeastern United States. Conservation status: near threatened. Geographical range: Texas, USA. Conservation status: endangered. Geographical range: endemic to the United States. Conservation status: near threatened. Geographical range: Missouri and Mississippi River, USA. Conservation status: least concern. Geographical range: southern Canada and the United States. Conservation status: least concern. Geographical range: United States of America. Conservation status: na geographical range: endemic to the Pascagoula River in the United States. Conservation status: endangered. Geographical range: endemic to the Pearl River in the United States. Conservation status: endangered. Geographical range: Pearl River in the United States. Conservation status: vulnerable. Geographical range: Central Texas. Conservation status: least concern. Geographical range: Pascagoula River and its tributaries in the United States. Conservation status: vulnerable. Genus Melaclemys. Geographical range: Florida Keys to Cape Cod, United States. Conservation status: near threatened. Genus Pseudomys. Geographical range: native to Alabama. Conservation status: endangered. Geographical range: Florida and southern Georgia. Conservation status: least concern. Geographical range: endemic to the United States. Conservation status: near threatened. Geographical range: Florida Peninsula. Conservation status: na geographical range: Mexico and the United States. Conservation status: near threatened. Geographical range: Central and Eastern United States. Conservation status: least concern. Geographical range: Texas, United States. Conservation status: na genus Trachmeys. Geographical range: native to the US and Mexico. Conservation status: near threatened. Geographical range: Baja California, Sinaloa and Sonora in Mexico. Conservation status: na geographical range: New Mexico and Texas, USA and Chihuahua, Mexico. Conservation status: vulnerable. Geographical range: Puerto Rico, Great Inagua, Dominican Republic and Haiti. Conservation status: near threatened. Geographical range: Colombia and Venezuela. Conservation status: na geographical range: Querétaro, Sai, Negus Basin, Mexico. Conservation status: endangered. Geographical range: native to Cuba and Isla de la Juventud. Conservation status: na geographical range: Brazil, Argentina and Uruguay. Conservation status: least concern. Geographical range: Dominican Republic, Haiti, Cuba and Puerto Rico. Conservation status: vulnerable. Geographical range: Bahamas and Jamaica. Conservation status: vulnerable. Geographical range: endemic to northeastern Brazil. Conservation status: endangered. Geographical range: Mexico to Honduras. Conservation status: na geographical range: Nicaragua and Costa Rica. Conservation status: na geographical range: Western Mexico. Conservation status: vulnerable. Geographical range: Northwestern Mexico. Conservation status: vulnerable. Eurasian pond and river turtles and neotropical wood turtles. The Geomyidae family is the largest family of turtles, with as many as 70 species to its credit, with the exception of the 9 species belonging to genus Rhinclames, which are found in Central America and South America. All the other members of Geomyidae family are distributed across Eurasia and the northern regions of Africa. Initially believed to be a monotypic species, the yellow-headed temple turtle, Hiermais anandali, has now been added to genus Hesmes, which is part of this turtle family. Genus Batagur geographical range, Burma conservation status, endangered geographical range, Southeast Asia conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, South Asia conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, Malaysia, Indonesia and Cambodia conservation status. Na geographical range, Nepal, Bangladesh and India conservation status, endangered genus Geoclimes black pond turtle or spotted pond turtle. Geoclimes hamiltoni, geographical range, South Asia conservation status, vulnerable genus Hardella, geographical range, India. Pakistan and Bangladesh conservation status, vulnerable genus Morenia geographical range, endemic to Burma conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, India and Bangladesh conservation status, vulnerable genus Pangshura geographical range, Assam and eastern Bangladesh conservation status, endangered geographical range, South Asia conservation status, near threatened geographical range, South Asia conservation status, least concerned geographical range, peninsular India conservation status, least concerned genus Chinese geographical range, endemic to China conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, endemic to China conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, endemic to China conservation status, vulnerable genus Cura geographical range, throughout South and Southeast Asia conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, China conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, China, Vietnam, Laos and Cambodia conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, endemic to Chinese Guangxi province conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, endemic to China conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, mountainous regions in southern Vietnam conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, China, Vietnam and Laos conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, central China, Taiwan and Japan conservation status, endangered geographical range, endemic to Yunnan province of China conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, China and Vietnam conservation status, critically endangered genus Cyclemys geographical range, South and Southeast Asia conservation status, Na geographical range, Bangladesh and India conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Cambodia and Vietnam conservation status, Na geographical range, Brunei, Malaysia and Indonesia conservation status, Na geographical range, Myanmar, India and Bangladesh conservation status, Na geographical range, South and Southeast Asia conservation status, Na geographical range, Cambodia, Southeast Thailand and Vietnam conservation status, Na genus Geoemida, geographical range, China and Vietnam conservation status, endangered geographical range, endemic to the Ryukyu Islands in Japan conservation status, endangered genus Leucocephalo geographical range, endemic to Indonesia conservation status, critically endangered genus Malamese, Macrocephala geographical range, Cambodia, West Malaysia, Myanmar and Thailand conservation status, Na Malamese subtrijugal geographical range, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam and Thailand conservation status, vulnerable genus Hesmes geographical range, Arkan Hills of Western Myanmar conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar and Thailand conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, Southeast Asia conservation status, endangered geographical range, native to Southeast Asia conservation status, Na genus Mormes geographical range, Balkan Peninsula conservation status, Na geographical range, Eastern Mediterranean region conservation status, Na geographical range, Endemic to Japan conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Europe and northwestern Africa conservation status, na geographical range. Endemic to central Vietnam conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, China, Japan, Taiwan and Vietnam conservation status. Endangered genus Melanocles, geographical range, South Asia conservation status, near threatened geographical range, India, Bangladesh and Nepal conservation status, vulnerable genus Notocles, geographical range, Southeast Asia conservation status, vulnerable genus Ocadia geographical range, China, Taiwan and Vietnam conservation status, endangered geographical range. Endemic to Guangxi, China conservation status, data deficient geographical range, Henan province of China conservation status, data deficient genus Orlicia geographical range, Indonesia and Malaysia conservation status, endangered genus Pixidia geographical range, China, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar and India conservation status, endangered genus Rinclamis geographical range, Costa Rica, Honduras, Nicaragua and Panama conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Honduras, Nicaragua and Panama conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Colombia, Ecuador and Panama conservation status, least concern geographical range, Yucatan Peninsula and surrounding areas conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Colombia and Ecuador conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Colombia and Venezuela conservation status, least concern geographical range, endemic to Mexico conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Mexico and Central America conservation status, na geographical range, Brazil, French Guiana, Guyana, Suriname, Venezuela, Trinidad and Tobago conservation status, least concern genus, Sakalia geographical range. Hong Kong conservation status, endangered geographical range, Henan, China conservation status, data deficient geographical range, China, Laos and Vietnam conservation status, endangered genus Sebenrochila geographical range, endemic to Southeast Asia conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. The island province of Palawan in Philippines conservation status, critically endangered genus Vijachelis geographical range. Western Ghats of India conservation status, endangered true tortoises. The Testudinidae family of turtles, i.e. the true tortoises, is made up of all the land-dwelling species of this reptile. The two subfamilies Testudini, 38 species, and Xerobetinae, 6 species, together account for the 44 extant species of true tortoises on the planet. One gets to see a great deal of diversity within this family. The largest living species of tortoise, the Aldabra giant tortoise, is one of the most popular members of this turtle family. Genus Aldabrachiales geographical range, Aldabra atoll in the Seychelles conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. Seychelles Islands conservation status, conservation dependent geographical range, Seychelles Islands conservation status, extinct in the wild genus Astrocles geographical range, endemic to Madagascar conservation status, critically endangered geographical range. Southern Madagascar conservation status, critically endangered genus Chelonoidis geographical range. Native to 7 of the Galapagos Islands conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. Native to Argentina conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. South America conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, native to South America, conservation status, endangered genus Chercina geographical range, dry areas and scrub forest in South Africa, conservation status, na genus Geochilone geographical range, Southern Sahara in Africa conservation status, Vulnerable geographical range, Myanmar, Burma, conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, India and Sri Lanka, conservation status, least concerned genus, Holmpus, geographical range, endemic to the Republic of South Africa, conservation status, Na, geographical range, endemic to Namibia, conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, endemic to the Nama Karu region of South Africa and in southern Namibia, conservation status, Na, geographical range, endemic to the Karoo region of South Africa, conservation status, Na, geographical range, Little Namaqualand, South Africa, conservation status, near threatened genus Indatastedo, geographical range, South and Southeast Asia, conservation status, endangered geographical range, Sulawesi Island, Indonesia, conservation status, endangered geographical range, Western Ghats of India, conservation status, vulnerable genus Kinexes, geographical range, distributed throughout a large part of sub-Saharan Africa, conservation status, least concerned geographical range, distributed throughout the African continent, conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, Southern Africa, conservation status, Na, geographical range, Mozambique, South Africa and Swaziland, conservation status, near threatened geographical range, distributed throughout the African continent, conservation status, data deficient geographical range, Africa, conservation status, Na, genus Melcochers, geographical range, native to Tanzania and Kenya, conservation status, vulnerable genus Samo bates, geographical range, Southern Africa, conservation status, Na, geographical range, Southwestern Cape of South Africa, conservation status, endangered geographical range, Southern Africa, conservation status, Na, genus Pyxis, geographical range, endemic to Madagascar, conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, endemic to Madagascar, conservation status, critically endangered genus Stigmochles, geographical range, savannas of eastern and southern Africa, conservation status, least concern, genus Testudo, geographical range, distributed throughout southern Europe, conservation status, near threatened geographical range, Greece, Italy and the Balkans in southern Europe, conservation status, least concerned geographical range, Egypt, conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, Europe and Africa, conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, Afghanistan to northwestern China, conservation status, vulnerable genus Gopherus, geographical range, native to the Mojave and Sonoran deserts of the US and Mexico, conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, native to North America, conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, native to the southeastern United States, conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, native to North America, conservation status, least concern genus Manoria, geographical range, India, Bangladesh, Thailand, Malaysia and Indonesia, conservation status, endangered geographical range, Southeast Asia, conservation status, vulnerable pig-nosed turtles. The pig-nosed turtle is the lone member of family Ceratoclidlidae and is found in the freshwater sources of the Australian continent and some parts of Southeast Asia. The species is typically characterized by a beak resembling the snout of a hog and hence the name. One of the most widespread family of turtles on the planet at one point of time. Family Ceratoclidlidae is battling for its survival today, with the pig-nosed turtle being the sole survivor of the lot. Genus Ceratocles, geographical range, Northern Territory, Papua New Guinea and West Papua region, conservation status, endangered Central American river turtles. The Central American river turtle, native to the rivers of Central America, is the lone survivor of family Dermatomyidae, while the International Union for Conservation of Nature (IUCN) has this species enlisted as a critically endangered species. The U.S. Endangered Species Act has it enlisted as endangered, as in case of the pig-nosed turtle. The extinction of Central American river turtle will also mark the extinction of an entire turtle family from the planet. Genus Dermatmes Central American river turtle or Mesoamerican river turtle, Dermatmes mavi. Geographical range Central America. From southern Mexico to northern Honduras. Conservation status. Critically endangered mud turtles and musk turtles. Mud turtles and musk turtles are the small turtles belonging to family Cynosternidae. Though there is no consensus on classification of this family, most of the sources group the 25 extant species into 4 genera. While the common name mud turtles is derived from the fact that these species are usually known to inhabit the muddy bottoms of near stagnant water bodies, the name musk turtles is derived from their ability to release a distinct musky odor. Genus Cynosterno. Geographical range Sinaloa and Sonora. Conservation status least concern. Geographical range Arizona, United States and Sonora, Mexico. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range endemic to Central America. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range endemic to Mexico. Conservation status near threatened. Geographical range endemic to Colombia. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range Chihuahua, Coahuila and Durango. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range United States. Conservation status least concern. Geographical range endemic to Mexico. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range endemic to Mexico. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range Venezuela and Colombia. Conservation status least concern. Geographical range United States, Texas and Mexico. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range endemic to Mexico. Conservation status data deficient. Geographical range Mexico, Central America and South America. Conservation status data deficient. Geographical range Mexico and the United States. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range endemic to the United States. Conservation status least concern. Geographical range Belize, Guatemala and Mexico. Conservation status near threatened. Geographical range Mexico, Central America and South America. Conservation status vulnerable. Geographical range Central United States and Mexico. Conservation status least concern. Genus Sternotherus. Geographical range native to southeastern Canada and the eastern United States. Conservation status least concern. Geographical range endemic to the United States. Conservation status critically endangered. Geographical range native to the United States. Conservation status data deficient. Geographical range native to the United States. Conservation status data deficient. Genus Claudius. Geographical range Mexico, Guatemala and Belize. Conservation status near threatened. Genus Stotipus. Geographical range Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala and Belize. Conservation status near threatened. Geographical range Central America and Mexico. Conservation status near threatened. Soft-shell turtles. Soft-shell turtles or soft shells as they are often called are turtles belonging to family Trionychidae, typically characterized by a carapace which is hard in the center, leathery towards the edges and lacks the typical horny scales. The spiny soft shell is the only member of this family of turtles which sports a carapace with scaly projections. Soft-shell turtles are found in Asia, Africa and South America, wherein the 13 existing genera of turtles are grouped into 2 subfamilies, Cyclenorbinae and Trionychinae. Genus Cyclenorbis. Geographical range Benin, Chad, Ethiopia, Ghana, Nigeria, Sudan and Togo. Conservation status near threatened. Geographical range most the African continent. Conservation status near threatened. Genus Chalus. Geographical range Amazon and Orinoco basins. South America. Conservation status least concern. Genus Cycloderma. Geographical range Democratic Republic of Congo, Zaire, Gabon and Angola. Conservation status Na. Geographical range Southeastern Africa. Conservation status Near threatened genus Lismes geographical range. South Asia conservation status, least concerned geographical range. Myanmar and Thailand conservation status, data deficient. Genus Emida geographical range, Southeast Asia conservation status, vulnerable Emida nacorans rithambaragensis geographical range. Thailand and surrounding regions conservation status, vulnerable genus Apelan geographical range. The states of South Carolina, Georgia, Florida and Alabama in the U.S. conservation status, Na geographical range, Eastern United States conservation status, Na geographical range, Canada, United States and Mexico conservation status, least concerned genus Chitra geographical range, Indonesia, Thailand and Myanmar conservation status, critically endangered geographical range, Indian subcontinent conservation status, Na geographical range, Southeast Asia conservation status, Na geographical range, India and Pakistan conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, Southeast Asia conservation status, Na genus Dogania geographical range, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines and Singapore conservation status, least concerned genus Nilsonia geographical range, endemic to Myanmar conservation status, endangered geographical range. South Asia conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, Nepal, Bangladesh and Pakistan conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. Peninsular India conservation status, vulnerable geographical range, India and Bangladesh conservation status. Extinct in the wild Genua Palia geographical range, native to China and Vietnam conservation status, endangered genus Pilocles geographical range. Australia, West Papua, Indonesia and Papua New Guinea conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. South and Southeast Asia conservation status, endangered geographical range, endemic to Papua New Guinea conservation status. Na genus Pildiscus geographical range, China, Korea, North Vietnam and Japan and Russia conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region conservation status, Na geographical range, Guangxi Zhuang Region and Hunan Province conservation status, Na geographical range, Russia, Northeast China, Democratic Republic of Korea and South Korea conservation status, Na genus Rhaptus geographical range, Iraq, Syrian Arab Republic, Turkey and Khuzestan Province of Iran conservation status, endangered geographical range, Vietnam and China conservation status, critically endangered genus Trionyx geographical range, parts of Africa and Near East conservation status. Na side neck turtles. Side neck turtles are those species which turn their neck sidewards and tuck their head in a cavity near their front legs, instead of retracting it into the shell. These turtles are predominantly found in the southern hemisphere of the planet. The extant side-necked turtle species are further classified into two families based on their geographical range: family Chelidae, which comprises Austro-American side-necked turtles, and family Pelomedusidae, which comprises African side-necked turtles and the Madagascan big-headed and American side-neck river turtles. Genus Chelodina geographical range, Northern Territory, Australia conservation status, least concerned geographical range, Southern Australia conservation status, data deficient geographical range, Northern and northeastern parts of Australia conservation status, least concerned geographical range, Northern Queensland to South Australia conservation status, least concerned geographical range, endemic to the southwestern part of Western Australia conservation status, near threatened geographical range, northeastern Australia, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea conservation status, least concerned geographical range, Australia, Indonesia and Pitcairn Islands conservation status, Near threatened geographical range, West Papua in Indonesia and Papua New Guinea conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. Endemic to Papua New Guinea conservation status, endangered geographical range. Indonesia conservation status, near threatened geographical range. Rote Island between New Guinea and Australia conservation status, critically endangered geographical range. Western Australia conservation status. Na genus Elsea, geographical range, endemic to Indonesia conservation status, vulnerable geographical range. Endemic to Australia conservation status, endangered geographical range, Fitzroy River, Queensland conservation status. Vulnerable Northern Western Australia and the Northern Territory conservation status, least concern geographical range. Endemic to Southeastern Queensland, Australia conservation status, endangered genus Emedur, geographical range. Eastern Australia conservation status, least concern geographical range. Northern Australia conservation status, least concern geographical range. Australia and Papua New Guinea conservation status, least concern geographical range. Northern Australia conservation status, least concern genus Elusor, geographical range. Mary River in South East Queensland, conservation status, endangered genus Machlis. Geographical range, endemic to Australia conservation status, data deficient geographical range, endemic to Australia conservation status, data deficient geographical range, endemic to New South Wales, Australia conservation status, endangered geographical range. Indonesia and Papua New Guinea conservation status, least concern geographical range, endemic to Australia conservation status. Data deficient genus Pseudomydur, geographical range, Western Australia conservation status. Critically endangered genus Rheodites, geographical range, endemic to South Eastern Queensland, Australia conservation status. Vulnerable genus Acanthocles, geographical range, Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil and Paraguay conservation status, near threatened geographical range. Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay and Paraguay conservation status, near threatened geographical range, endemic to Brazil conservation status. Near threatened geographical range, Argentina, Paraguay and Bolivia conservation status, vulnerable genus Mesoclamis, geographical range, Venezuela. Ecuador, Peru and Brazil conservation status, Na geographical range, endemic to Colombia conservation status. Critically endangered geographical range, most of South America conservation status, least concern geographical range. Endemic to Brazil conservation status, endangered geographical range. South America conservation status, Na geographical range, Guyana, Suriname. French Guiana and Brazil conservation status, Na geographical range, endemic to Brazil conservation status, Na geographical range. Endemic to Brazil conservation status, Na geographical range, Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Paraguay and Uruguay conservation status. Near threatened geographical range, endemic to Venezuela conservation status, vulnerable genus Phrynops, geographical range. South America conservation status, least concern geographical range, most of South America conservation status, least concern geographical range. Brazil, Uruguay and Argentina conservation status, least concern geographical range, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay and Argentina conservation status. Na genus Platymes, geographical range, Northern, South America conservation status, least concern genus Rhinemes, geographical range, Brazil. Colombia and Peru conservation status, near threatened genus Hydromedusa, geographical range, Northern Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay and Brazil conservation status, Na geographical range, endemic to Brazil conservation status. Vulnerable genus Palomedusa, geographical range, most the African continent conservation status, least concern genus Pelusios, geographical range. Most the African continent conservation status. Na geographical range. Southern Africa conservation status. Na geographical range. Tropical West Africa conservation status. Na geographical range. Gabon, Congo, Brazzaville and the Democratic Republic of Congo conservation status. Na geographical range. Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo conservation status. Na geographical range. Eastern and Southeastern Africa conservation status. Least concern geographical range. Endemic to Gabon conservation status. Na geographical range. Angola, Namibia, Botswana, Zambia and Zimbabwe conservation status. Na geographical range. Southern Africa conservation status. Data deficient geographical range. Endemic to Kenya conservation status. Vulnerable geographical range. Endemic to Democratic Republic of the Congo conservation status. Data deficient geographical range. Most the African continent conservation status. Least concern geographical range. West Africa conservation status. Na geographical range. The African continent conservation status. Na geographical range. Endemic to the Upper Nile drainage conservation status. Na geographical range. Madagascar, Malawi, Mozambique, Seychelles. South Africa and Tanzania conservation status. Least concern genus Erimnocles geographical range. Western Madagascar conservation status. Critically endangered genus Peltocephalus geographical range. Brazil, Colombia, French Guiana, Venezuela and Ecuador conservation status. Vulnerable genus Podocnemis geographical range. Amazon Basin conservation status. Vulnerable geographical range. South America and the Caribbean conservation status. Conservation dependent geographical range. Brazil, Colombia and Venezuela conservation status. Vulnerable endemic to Colombia conservation status. Endangered Venezuela and Colombia conservation status. Na geographical range. Brazil, Colombia and Peru conservation status. Vulnerability. The Madagascan big-headed turtles and the American side neck river turtles have often been grouped into family Podocnemidae. It is believed that the members of this turtle family are quite similar to the members of family Pelomedusidae and hence the two families should be merged. Though the turtles with a history of 200 million years boast of being one of the longest living species on the earth, serious questions are being raised about their future. In a study by the IUCN SSC tortoise and freshwater turtle specialist groups, it was revealed that 25 species of turtles are at an extremely high risk of extinction. The data on sea turtles was not taken into consideration in course of this study. Had it been included, the leatherback sea turtle and the Kames Ridley sea turtle would have had also featured in this list of critically endangered turtles. Large-scale predation, habitat destruction, overharvesting for food, and so on. The list of threats these turtles face seems to be never-ending. While turtle conservation projects do exist, it is difficult to keep a check on illegal poaching of these reptiles which, though illegal, has become a multi-million-dollar industry. Wildlife experts also suggest that this is just a rough picture and the actual situation is much more grave than what it is believed to be.